Welcome back to Pommy and Oz. Hope we're all doing really well. If you're new around here, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe. It really helps the channel out. And we're ploughing through members. You can become a member of the channel as well. The way to do that is the link is in the description. They've had early access to some of next week's videos already. In the season, we will be doing lives, we will be doing giveaways, and we will be doing very special draft content that is members only for next year. So if that does interest you, help the channel out, click the link in the description. And today we're here to talk about the AFL training at Carlton, the open training, the last session before Christmas. It was a lot of fun. It was great to get out and meet you. Great to see some of you. Big Zach, he came up to see me. Adam King, a variety of others, Nick, and his mate. That was great to see. A load of you that I can't all remember. So it was great, and I felt very welcomed, and thank you very much for that. That was a real nice part of the start of the festivities, as it were. Some points of note: we did have some VFL boys training with us: Heath Ramshaw, AJ Mills, Archie Stevens, and Liam McMahon. Heath Ramshaw and Liam did actually look really solid, and did for me did stand out in the terms of they didn't look VFL lost players. They did look quite good. Particularly Ramshaw looks like he's put on a bit of size, as has AJ, which is good to see. Looking forward to seeing them in the VFL. Obviously, them working with the AFL only helps the VFL development because they have a better understanding of what they're trying to ascertain in the seniors, but also what the roles are, which is really important. And them players that we've mentioned, McMahon particularly and stuff, they have got such a big part of it. Ramshaw and McMahon, very big ball users, AJ as well, to really make sure that they implement the seniors who are in that VFL side to get better. It was interesting that Connors and Sam Durden were absentees in the terms of they were just doing the running. They did do a lot of running, it has to be said. And Cowan and Wheat are in as well. We're kind of on limited, definitely on management. You did see them partake in drills, but they did do a lot of kicking and a lot more running. It has to be said, Cowan does look pretty tasty. He has put on a bit of beef and he was moving freely, and Wheater did move very freely. There was a predominant focus on definitely back half transition and forward half front of centre handballs. There's three focus points that I want to talk on. One is the exit in the defensive half, and that was particularly a big onus. We saw there was a real onus on being a lot quicker and being a lot more impactful from the switch. Particularly, I do want to focus on players like Jackson Binns, Zach Williams here, really predominantly, who were charged with it, particularly Jackson Binns, who has really spent a lot of time in the last 12 months on really improving his defensive aspects of the game, which is probably the biggest hole in him when he was drafted. It was really good to see that he was looking to take a deep run from the wing to be an extra there, as was Zach Williams, interesting enough, and then looking to be a little bit more impactful ahead of the ball with players running in more patterns and definitely a more focus on hitting the corridor, which is a real big part of it. The other side I wanted to work on is definitely they did a lot of stoppage work, and it's interesting, Cripper did take a knock in that part, and everyone did panic. I can confirm there was nothing wrong there. He went off. They did confirm very quickly, Hansen did, that it was a precautionary measure. He was in good spirits. He was talking to Ollie Hollands quite a bit, who did stand out in this training session. Definitely put a lot of impetus in here. He seems to be very big in coordinating and being part of that coordination, particularly in the stoppage. And around the stoppage, it was quite interesting. Carlton were going a lot more direct. We saw last year there was a lot of them loopy handballs out the back. There was a real potent impact on Billy Wilson, Sam Walsh, Zach Williams when he did attend them, and Adam Cherra to make that Tuck Miller very direct run through the stoppage and feed the handball there with blockers working. Kennedy did do a lot of the blocking. Hewitt did when he was in there, but also Cripper as well, which ultimately he got hurt doing that. But that was a good sign because that's probably the strength and the big misconception of Carlton is they're slow. It's more how you manipulate the ball use to allow you to be quick. And that was quite exciting. Hewers, Akers, Fantasia, Sard and O'Keefe did spend a lot of time doing extra running, which was good to see, particularly Blake Akers, who it was nice to see him moving a little more freely. It was great to see Murkoff over there. And the third part I wanted to talk about was the forward centre handballs, which was really good to see. There was a big onus here on working the smalls into the game, and that really did show with players like Ashton Moyer, with Durden, with Motlop as well, who snagged, I've got to say more, some beautiful set shots from this, was actually looking ahead of the ball and trying to find players in space and not take the game on yourself. I do want to talk about players like Elijah Hollands, who showcased a few times in the blue versus orange game his ability to run in and kick from 50. And that was really good to see the approach into that aesthetic. They really weren't looking for these defensive handballs or bring the ball wide to slow the game down. They were looking to take the game on, and it was more akin to what we saw in the Wazze first year at the back end of the year, where we really started to see that in that start of the year, the 8-2, where the boys were playing on and quick. It did worry me that when I was looking at players like Lewis Young, particularly, that backline issue still existed where they took a little bit of time and then did it. And it really did come unstuck there. But it was good to see that the other players did look there. I do want to talk about Harry Mackay, who really did shine this week, who looked to go back to the old way of engaging contact early. And that was a real highlight for me. His kicking isn't the major issue for me. It was in the middle part of the year you really saw his confidence go from attacking players one-on-one, and at times was led to the ball. And this was helped with that direct run from Walsh and Chera, and Binns accommodating, and Cottrell as well. Interesting, had a little bit of that time there of attacking the ball straight, and then it opens up that early lead from Harry and Charlie, who were really, really, really strong. It was great to see as well the running patterns, and I can see a time where Carlton played Binns, Hollands and Cottrell. I can really see it, because when you saw them playing, it was actually incredibly scary, the overlap run it generated. And like I said, that forward of centre handball, looking for targets to run on and run on, is going to be very high maintenance, and that looks really good. I do want to talk about Elijah Hollands, though. Him and Walsh really did combine incredibly well, and it was interesting that seeing them down the back, Binns particularly working off halfback, which was very interesting in the transition. On the other side was Rob Monaghan, the Irish kid, who is an incredible athlete, a real incredible athlete, and simply gifted. And to see Elijah, there was a passage of play where Walsh got the ball to Chera breaking through. Binns hit up Elijah, who hit up Ollie with a handball. It's really good. And you can see the standout when they're doing particularly the running patterns, how Binns and co are a cut above the rest. Even Chera and Walsh, they really are a cut above the rest. And I can see them all being in the team at some stage. Saucy, it was good to see. Played a little bit down the back. Interesting. Did a lot of one-on-one work with Kerno, Charlie Kerno. It was quite entertaining to see that right in front of me. They did some like British Bulldog type exercise. That was good. It was good, though, to see him work at high forward. Him and Elijah spent a lot of time there. And it's going to be interesting because obviously you've got J Saucy's marking. You've got Elijah Hollands' more skill and more ability. It was the ability to see just him dance and how he has that brain. Very quick thinking, very quick hands. And it's going to be interesting, that battle between him and Cottrell, because both of them have got some decent engines on them. The combination that I really did enjoy seeing inside, though, was Walsh, Chera and Cripps. Seeing that really play, really, really pan out, and how that frees up the other guys that float through there is insane. Seeing Hewitt and Kennedy, who I feel like are fighting for one spot, playing the blocker, and then Chera and Walsh taking it in turns to be that direct run with Billy Wilson, is really exciting. And that's probably what we hoped Dow would do. I would say Chera and Walsh may not be as burst speedy, but are 100% better footballers. And that is going to really play into the Lockie Neal role that you see, the Nick Dacos role you see at Collingwood. All the top teams use that direct run, and it's good to see that we finally added it. Zach Williams did look incredible, though, down the back half. It has got to be one of them things where you look at that and you saw it. Some of his dancing around traffic and then hitting up leads, particularly hitting Cripps a few times, was sensational. And that is something that I'm really excited about. That is definitely the difference from us playing prelims and grand finals, is Zach Williams. I don't think the transition was that bad. It was the application. Now we've got some very good ball users down there. It was good to see Marchbank as well. He went up against Cripps and went up against Charlie, struggled a bit, but then got into it. And seeing Jack Martin as well. But boy, oh boy, we saved the best for the last. Ashton Moore. Ashton Moore is incredible. Do you know what I mean? His ability to ping it off the left. There was a great passage of play where he won the ground ball get about forward pocket and then boomed one with his left and then did something very similar towards the end of the session on his right. That dual footiness is really going to come in handy, and he is round one ready. He's already a cut above what we've seen there before and working. I saw him spend a lot of time with Martin chatting and stuff, which is only going to come in handy. It was good to see Lemmy as well. Lemmy going up against Domaku. Do you know what I mean? Which was good fun. Sometimes they broke even, but the good thing about Harry Lemmy is we're starting to see what we saw in when he was a top 5 graduate. His early leads, which did kill Aku, and then he did play a little bit on Marchbank. It did really worry them. It was great to see Pitnet. He must have run about 600 laps, I have to say. He ran a lot of laps at the time, and that was good to see. He looked quite fit. It's going to be interesting. He was saying to the guy next to me, he returns really to full contact just after Christmas, but he did look sharp and he was running all day. And TDK, good to see him have his long hair back. He was really actually being deployed a little bit further behind the ball, which was interesting, which is where all the top ruckmen play. So that's a watch this space on. Overall, the attitude of the fans, but also the players, was businesslike. There wasn't as much smiles. There was more focus with the training. It was a very intense session, and it was good to see a lot of players back orders. Ollie Hollands was constantly talking. Elijah was talking. Billy asking a lot of questions. It was a really good little session, and I'm really excited. So hopefully you get something out of that. A lot going on. So really look out for in the preseason games that front half handballs with more intent as opposed to be safe. Definitely more corridor use, but also the ability to hit people on transition and play the give and goes and be a bit more bold and endeavourous with our ball use. And the front and centre, particularly in the stoppage, that direct running, looking for the block and then the runner coming from the back, which used to be the safety outlet. It was interesting. Hewitt and Cripps were deployed at the front half, and then we had a runner out the back, which is a lot more aggressive and a lot more akin to the top sides. With our clearance and stoppage dominance, that could be dangerous. But great to see you all out there. Can't wait to see you all again. I've missed you all. I hope you have a great Christmas and a great New Year. From my family to yours, I hope that the new year is plentiful and abundant. Much love, everyone. Stay safe. And until next time, peace and love and light. Pom out.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad.